Welcome to another episode of Daily Gym. Solomon's Paradox, the ability to reason more sensibly about somebody else's situation than about your own. We all have had these experiences where we invested our money into something, or we spent time with friends or family for a very long time, and later on we wonder why we ever did that. Or in a business context that we hired a certain person, or we made a certain strategic decision, and after some time has passed, we regret ever making those decisions. And we wonder to ourselves, how come we were ever pushed to this extent that we made these decisions, which don't seem very sensible at all? As most of you are aware, human beings are driven to a large extent by biases. We all have them. Some things we favor and some things we don't favor, but it's all different for each person. Imagine yourself in a interview situation. Either you're the interviewee or the interviewer, but you're going to this company or somebody comes to the company and you're talking with that person. Immediately you create a first impression, a gut feeling about this person. I don't like the way he or she looks. I don't like the way he or she talks or the way he or she walks. And the more you communicate with this person, the more you start either confirming that bias, that impression you have of that person, or your impression starts changing. But all of these impressions are based on experiences you've had in your life with other people or other similar situations. So sure enough, once the interview has finished, we develop a certain feeling towards the company or towards the interviewee or interviewer based on all these factors. So as a result, many of our decisions like this are all subjective. Of course, we can never 100% eliminate this subjectivity, otherwise we wouldn't really be human. But what we can do is limit it to a large extent by trying to take ourselves out of the situation and viewing it as something as if we're making a recommendation to somebody else. This way, we don't look at ourselves as the good guy or the bad guy, as really being in control of the situation, but more or less simply giving advice to somebody else. Again, this is probably something you've experienced yourself as well. A situation that your friend was in where he asked for your advice, and it became so easy to give him or her advice because it wasn't really something that was 100% or completely related to you. But at some point in life, you might have found yourself in a similar situation, and all of a sudden making that decision is so much more difficult, simply because our feelings are involved in all of this. So how can we make sure that whether it's in a business circumstance or in a private situation, that we can make more objective decisions? Again, this is where Solomon's paradox comes into play. We have to try and take ourselves out of the situation and view it almost from a bird's eye perspective, looking at the situation as if it involves somebody else. What kind of ways can we do this with? Of course, you can look in the mirror. You're still looking at yourself, but it's almost as if you're having a dialogue with somebody else. You're looking at another person in that mirror. You can also write an email to yourself, so when the email comes in and you're starting to reply, you can almost view it as if somebody sent you an email with a question describing the situation, and you're simply trying to help that person out. You can of course journal as well. As you can see, there are so many different ways that either involves verbal communication or written communication to help you write down your thoughts, with trying to ignore as much the feelings as possible, and thereby more objectively looking at the situation to help resolve it. My question to you is, have you ever found yourself in a situation like this, or experienced something similar like this, where the moment you were in that situation yourself, it all of a sudden became very difficult to manage it, while if it involved that same situation with somebody else, it became very easy to give feedback to that person? As usual, I'll be back with another episode tomorrow. If you're watching this on YouTube or on podcast, I would appreciate it if you can subscribe or follow my channel in case you like these kinds of videos. And if you're watching on YouTube, be sure to hit that thumbs up button in case you're enjoying this video. As always, I'll be back tomorrow, and I wish you all a nice day.